This is the fat loss equation that will tell you step by step exactly what you need to do to go from being fat to not fat. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, are you fat? A very simple question, yes or no answer. If you answered yes, then you need to go into a calorie deficit. If you answered no, however, we can go straight to weightlifting. Okay, so how do I figure out my calorie deficit? Well, that's very simple. You can do these fancy equations, or you can just type in online calorie calculator. Nice and simple. All you do, click any link, go on your calorie calculator. You normally type in your height, your weight, your age, stuff like that, and it will give you your maintenance calories, and then you can say if you want to bulk or if you want to cut, and it will very simply just give you your calories. The important thing to do with this is when you are in a calorie deficit, the more weight you lose, your metabolism will adapt, meaning say you start at 100 kilos and then you get down to 90 kilos and you're eating 2,500 calories. You will then get to 90 kilos, but you'll stop losing weight because 2,500 calories is no longer a deficit for you. So you'd go back to the calorie calculator website, put in your new weight and everything, and that will give you a new calorie target to then aim for. Now, lifting weights does not need to be anything strenuous or anything crazy. It can be 2-3 sessions a week. I recommend the 3 to 4 range is the sweet spot, but you can do it in 2. And you need to pick exercises you enjoy. This is the most important part. If you do not pick exercises that you enjoy, you are not going to stick to the gym. So you need to do exercises that you like. Once we have started weight training, we can go to the next stage of the equation, and that is, do you play or like sport? If you answered yes, you can then go straight to the next step of this equation, which is a high protein diet. However, if you answered no to this question, you need to figure out what form of cardio you would like to do. Now, this sport can be anything, by the way. This can be football, this can be rugby, this can be tennis. If you're into triathlons, do triathlons. You're probably not into triathlons, but it might be something you want to get into. But if you did answer no, then we need to find some cardio that you do enjoy. Now, this does not have to be anything crazy. This does not have to be running. For example, I dislike high rocks, so I would not do high rock style training unless I want to put myself through the pain of actually doing a high rocks and telling people that I'm doing a high rocks, which I might do at some stage in my life, but not at this moment in time. But do you enjoy said cardio that you've picked? Okay, if you put no, very simple, we just need to come back around and find a piece of cardio that we enjoy. Because we both know that if you pick a bit of cardio that you do not enjoy, you're not going to stick to, and therefore you will give up. Now, this could be something as simple as getting 2,000 steps extra than you're currently doing per day. This could be an incline walk on the treadmill with a podcast or a YouTube video on. But at the end of the day, we have to enjoy it. Once we have found a piece or a type of cardio that we enjoy, we can also then come to the high protein diet. Now, what is a high protein diet? Well, there's quite a lot of information out there, but anywhere between 1.6 to 2 grams, let me get a new color for this, anything between 1.6 to 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. So say, for example, you weighed, let's go 100 kilograms for ease. You would want to eat anywhere between 160 to 200 grams of protein, as you are timesing that by 100. 200 will be on the higher end of the spectrum. I would say that's probably too much if you're just someone who just wants to lose a bit of weight. But if you're a seriously keen gym goer and you want to maintain and keep as much muscle mass as you possibly can, go for the higher end of the spectrum. But if you're someone who's quite a bit over your target weight, so say, for example, you might be 120, 130 kilos and you want to get down to say 60, 70 kilos, then we'll go for your target body weight, okay? So if you're aiming for, let's say 70 kilos and you're currently at 110, you would then do 70 kilos times 2 or 1.6. So that would be somewhere between 140 and, what would that be, 110 grams of protein, somewhere in that line there. I would recommend having as high a protein diet as possible, because a high protein diet is also going to keep you fuller for longer, and it's going to make the dieting process much easier. Because if you're eating a lot of ultra processed foods, it's not going to keep you as full for long. And trust me, I do some food challenges where I eat 3,000 calories worth of cake and I'm hungry later that day. Whereas if I did one challenge where I did 1,500 calories worth of eggs and I was full the whole day and I felt sick. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in terms of food challenges. That's probably a little bit dramatic, but that's somewhere about where I was. So a high protein diet is also going to keep you fuller for longer. Now, what about carbs and fats? That's a great question. We put carbs and fats up here for one reason and one reason only. They are completely irrelevant to your fat loss journey, okay? Carbs and fats are not going to make much difference to you actually losing weight. You want to focus on protein and being in a calorie deficit, and the carbs and fats aren't going to do anything when it comes to actual fat loss. You want to go for about 50-ish grams of fats. That can be give or take. You might be slightly higher if you want, it might be slightly lower if you want. Doesn't really matter, but that's just going to support your hormone levels and then fill the rest up with carbs. But I do not track a single carb or a single fat at all, and I've never done so at any stage in my life. The only thing that I track is a calorie deficit and my protein targets. So if you want to eat high carbs and low fats, go for it. If you want to eat high fats and low carbs, then go for it. But also monitor your energy levels. If you're eating a low carb diet and a high fat diet and you feel like you're lacking energy, you might want to introduce some more carbs, because carbs are what's going to give you the energy. In terms of carb timing, don't worry about it. You're not a fucking bodybuilder. You're not an endurance athlete unless you're doing some sort of physically like sport, like a really exerting activity. You might want to worry about carb timing. If you're just going to the gym, lifting weights, you're doing some steady cardio, don't worry about carb timing or anything like that. But this is the exact fat loss equation that is going to get you from fat to not fat. And that is a very good little illustration there, if I do say so myself. So to be honest, it's not even a fat loss equation, it's just a life equation. No matter where you are, having as much muscle mass as possible is going to make your life longer and healthier and happier, especially when you're older. And being less fat is going to make it more enjoyable. You're going to get less out of breath, you're going to feel better, and you can do more things. Follow this equation and you will be happy. And if you actually need help with doing this and preparing this so it fits around your lifestyle, then I have currently got a Lean Into Summer program I'm offering 12 and 16 weeks. I will do everything for you to help you regain confidence, lose weight, stop avoiding photos, and just feel amazing in yourself. I'm offering a 20% discount for the first 5 people that sign up. The link is going to be in the bio for that. And as always, the links to all my socials and all my free stuff is also in the comments below. So drop a comment, drop a like, and if you haven't already, drop a subscription, and I'll see you on the next one.